The wrestling world just witnessed something absolutely explosive, and if you missed what went down on Monday Night Raw, then buckle up, because what Bron Breakker just said to Seth Rollins backstage is going to change everything we thought we knew about their rivalry. This is not just another promo or another week of back and forth trash talk, because Breakker looked Rollins dead in the eye and delivered a warning so intense that even the production crew stopped what they were doing to listen. If you want to stay updated on all the jaw-dropping moments like this, then make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because we are breaking down every single detail of what happened, and trust me, you do not want to miss a second of this. The tension between these two has been building for weeks now, and every single time they share the screen you can feel the electricity in the air, like something is about to explode at any moment. Bron Breakker has been on an absolute tear lately, destroying everyone who steps in his path and making it crystal clear that he is not here to play games or work his way up slowly through the ranks. This man wants gold, and he wants it now, and the only thing standing between him and the championship is Seth Rollins, who has held onto that title with everything he has got, proving time and time again why he calls himself the architect and the visionary of WWE. When the cameras caught up with them backstage, the atmosphere was completely different from what we usually see in these confrontations. There was no yelling at first and no immediate physicality, just two competitors standing face to face with the kind of intensity that makes your heart race even through the television screen. Breakker was calm and collected, which somehow made everything he said even more terrifying, because when a man like him speaks quietly, you know he means every single word that comes out of his mouth. He looked at Rollins with those cold eyes and told him straight up that the visionary era is coming to an end and there is nothing Rollins can do to stop it. Rollins tried to laugh it off at first, because that is what he does when someone challenges him. He has faced every type of opponent you can imagine, from technical masters to powerhouses to high flyers, and he has beaten them all, so why would Bron Breakker be any different, right? But you could see something shift in his expression when Breakker stepped even closer and reminded him that everyone who has ever doubted him has ended up on their back staring at the lights. This was not the usual cockiness we see from young wrestlers trying to make a name for themselves, because Breakker has already proven what he can do, and his track record speaks louder than any words ever could. The way Breakker delivered his warning was surgical and precise, like he had been thinking about this moment for a long time and had planned exactly what he wanted to say. He told Rollins that being the visionary means nothing when you are lying unconscious in the middle of the ring, and that all the accolades and all the history Rollins has created will not save him when they finally step between those ropes. He said that Rollins can call himself whatever he wants, but at the end of the day, titles and nicknames do not win matches, and they certainly do not protect you from someone who is hungrier and more dangerous than anyone you have ever faced before. What made this confrontation even more intense was how Rollins responded, because for once we saw a different side of him. The usual smirk and the confident swagger were still there, but there was also something else lurking behind his eyes. Maybe it was respect, or maybe it was the first sign of doubt creeping in, because even Seth Rollins knows that Bron Breakker is not like the other challengers he has faced. This is a second-generation superstar with an incredible pedigree and the kind of raw power and athleticism that comes around once in a generation. Rollins knows that one mistake against Breakker could cost him everything he has worked so hard to build. Breakker did not stop there though, because he went on to talk about how Rollins has been holding onto the championship by the skin of his teeth, and how every successful defense has taken more and more out of him. He pointed out that Rollins is not the same wrestler he was a year ago, and that the wear and tear of being at the top is starting to show. This was not just trash talk, this was psychological warfare at its finest, because Breakker was not just threatening to take the title, he was getting inside Rollins' head and planting seeds of doubt that will grow every single day until their match finally happens. The backstage area was packed with other wrestlers and crew members who had stopped what they were doing to witness this confrontation, and you could tell by the looks on their faces that they knew they were watching something special. These are people who see confrontations and promos every single day, but this was different because the authenticity was undeniable. When Breakker said he was going to end the visionary era, it was not just a catchphrase or something written on a script, it was a promise, and everyone in that room knew it. Rollins finally fired back and told Breakker that he has been hearing threats like this his entire career, and that every single person who said they were going to end him is now either retired or working somewhere else while he is still standing at the top of the mountain. He said that Breakker might be impressive and he might have all the tools to be a future champion, but right now in this moment he is still unproven on the biggest stage, and that when the lights are the brightest and the pressure is the highest, that is when we will see if Breakker is really as good as he thinks he is. But Breakker did not flinch, and he did not back down even an inch. He told Rollins that the difference between him and everyone else who has challenged for that title is that he does not care about the moment or the pressure, because he was born for this. He said that wrestling is in his blood and that his family name carries weight that Rollins could never understand. He reminded everyone watching that he comes from a lineage of champions, and that failure is not an option for him because he has too much to prove and too much riding on his success. The tension reached a boiling point when Breakker told Rollins to enjoy his time as champion while it lasts, because very soon that title will be around his waist and Rollins will be just another name on the list of people he has run through on his way to the top. He said that the visionary era was cute while it lasted, but it is time for a new era, and that era belongs to him. The way he said it with such conviction and certainty made it feel less like a prediction and more like an inevitability that we are all just waiting to witness. Rollins looked like he wanted to throw a punch right there and then, but he held back because he knows that getting into a brawl backstage would not prove anything. Instead, he told Breakker that talk is cheap and that when they finally meet in the ring he will show him exactly why he has been able to stay at the top for so long. He said that Breakker might be strong and he might be fast, but he lacks the experience and the ring intelligence that only comes from years of competing at the highest level. Rollins made it clear that he has been in wars that Breakker could not even imagine and that surviving those wars is what made him the champion he is today. The stare down between them lasted for what felt like forever, and neither man was willing to look away first because that would be a sign of weakness. The camera zoomed in on their faces, capturing every emotion and every ounce of intensity that was radiating from both competitors. You could see the confidence in Breakker's eyes and the determination in Rollins' face, and it was clear that when these two finally collide in the ring, it is going to be something absolutely special that fans will be talking about for years to come. Other wrestlers started to gather around, sensing that things could turn physical at any second, and security was on standby ready to jump in if needed. But both men knew that this was not the time or the place for a fight, because what they have to settle needs to happen in front of thousands of fans under the bright lights with everything on the line. Breakker finally stepped back and told Rollins that he will see him soon, and when that day comes he better be ready because there will be no excuses and no one to save him when he gets hit with the spear that ends it all. Rollins watched as Breakker walked away, and you could see him processing everything that had just been said. For a man who is usually so confident and so sure of himself, there was a moment where you could see him questioning whether he is ready for what is coming. Bron Breakker represents a different kind of challenge than anything Rollins has faced recently, and the fact that Breakker is so young and so hungry makes him even more dangerous because he has nothing to lose and everything to gain. The implications of this confrontation are massive for the entire landscape of Monday Night Raw, because if Breakker does what he says he is going to do and takes the championship from Rollins, it will shift the entire power structure of the show. Rollins has been the focal point of Raw for so long that it is hard to imagine the show without him as champion, but change is inevitable in wrestling, and it seems like that change might be coming sooner than anyone expected. Breakker is not just knocking on the door, he is about to kick it down and take what he believes is rightfully his. What makes this whole situation even more interesting is how the WWE Universe is reacting to it, because there is a split among fans about who they want to see win. Some fans have been riding with Rollins for years and they do not want to see his reign end, especially not to someone as relatively new as Breakker. But there is also a huge portion of the fanbase that is ready for something fresh and new, and they see Breakker as the future of the company. The buzz online has been absolutely insane, with people debating who would win in a match between them and what it would mean for both of their careers. From a storytelling perspective, this is exactly the kind of rivalry that wrestling needs right now, because it feels organic and real. There is no convoluted storyline or unnecessary twists, just two competitors who want the same thing and are willing to do whatever it takes to get it. The simplicity of it makes it even more compelling, because we do not need elaborate explanations or backstory, we just need to watch these two incredible athletes go to war and see who comes out on top. Backstage after the confrontation ended, people were still talking about what they had just witnessed. Some of the veterans were impressed with how Breakker carried himself and how he did not back down even when facing one of the most accomplished wrestlers in WWE history. Others were worried about Rollins and whether he is taking Breakker seriously enough, because underestimating an opponent is the quickest way to lose, especially when that opponent is as talented and motivated as Bron Breakker has proven himself to be. The match between these two, when it finally happens, is going to be an absolute war, and there is no other way to describe it. Breakker brings a level of intensity and physicality that will test Rollins in ways he has not been tested in a long time. Rollins, on the other hand, brings experience and championship pedigree that cannot be taught or learned overnight. The clash of styles and the clash of generations is going to create something truly special, and fans need to make sure they do not miss it when it goes down. As we move forward from this confrontation, the question on everyone's mind is what happens next. Will Breakker get his title shot immediately, or will WWE make us wait and build the anticipation even more? Will there be more confrontations between these two, or will they keep their distance until the big match? One thing is for certain though, and that is that Bron Breakker has made his intentions crystal clear, and Seth Rollins now knows exactly what is coming for him. The visionary era might have been one of the most successful championship reigns in recent memory, but if Breakker has his way, it is about to come to a crashing end. The wrestling business is all about moments, and the moment we just witnessed backstage on Raw is going to be one that people remember when they look back at this era. It was raw and it was real, and it was exactly what fans want to see from their superstars. No scripts that feel forced and no promos that sound rehearsed, just two competitors speaking from the heart and laying it all out there for the world to see. That is what makes wrestling special, and that is why moments like this resonate so deeply with fans who have been following the product for years. So if you have not been paying attention to what is happening between Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins, now is the time to start, because this is about to become one of the hottest rivalries in all of professional wrestling. The stakes could not be higher and the talent involved could not be better. We are on the verge of witnessing something truly special, and when the dust settles, one of these men is going to walk away as champion while the other is going to have to figure out where they go from there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss any updates on this incredible story and all the other amazing action happening in WWE right now, because things are only going to get more intense from here.